Have you ever wondered why some people seem to be excessively self-focused and lack empathy? Could they be narcissists? Let's delve into the intricacies of narcissism, a term that often gets thrown around but rarely with the depth it deserves. Narcissism, as defined by psychologists, is a personality trait marked by an inflated sense of self-importance, a deep-seated need for excessive attention and admiration, lack of empathy for others, and often a fragile self-esteem that's vulnerable to the slightest criticism. It's not just about loving one's reflection in the mirror, it's a complex and multifaceted psychological construct. But before we proceed, it's crucial to distinguish between healthy self-esteem and narcissism. While both involve a positive view of oneself, healthy self-esteem is associated with balanced self-perception, resilience, and consideration for others. In contrast, narcissism involves an inflated, grandiose self-view, often to the point of arrogance and contempt for others. Now let's debunk some common myths and misconceptions about narcissism. First, narcissism is not the same as self-love. While self-love involves acknowledging and respecting your own needs and desires, narcissism is about prioritizing oneself at the expense of others. Second, not all confident or assertive people are narcissists. Confidence is a healthy trait, often based on real achievements and abilities, whereas narcissism involves an overinflated sense of one's importance and capabilities. Lastly, let's clarify that narcissism isn't restricted to any particular gender, race, or social class. It's a universal phenomenon that transcends these boundaries. So why do we need to understand narcissism? Because it's more common than we might think. It's in our workplaces, our friendships, and sometimes even our homes. And while a little narcissism can be useful, excessive narcissism can be harmful, leading to toxic relationships and unhealthy environments. Understanding narcissism is the first step to identifying its red flags and warning signs. As we delve deeper into this topic, we'll unravel how to spot a narcissist, and more importantly, how to deal with them effectively. Stay tuned. Narcissism isn't always as obvious as one might think. There are subtle red flags to watch out for. Let's talk about these red flags, shall we? First off, we have excessive self-focus. This isn't your run-of-the-mill self-absorption, mind you. We're talking about a person who consistently and persistently puts themselves at the center of everything. They turn conversations around to make them about themselves, they seek to outshine others, and they often disregard the feelings or opinions of those around them. This excessive self-focus can manifest in everyday situations. For instance, a narcissist might dominate a conversation, not allowing others to express their thoughts or feelings. They may be more interested in talking about their own experiences and achievements rather than listening to what others have to say. Next, we have the constant need for admiration. Narcissists crave recognition and praise like a plant craves sunlight. They feel entitled to admiration and will often seek it out, sometimes going to great lengths to ensure they receive it. They might exaggerate their achievements, brag about their assets, or belittle others to make themselves look better in comparison. Feeling superior to others is another red flag. Narcissists often view themselves as better or more important than those around them. They may express this through arrogance, dismissive attitudes, or even outright contempt for those they perceive as inferior. But remember, everyone can display these behaviors from time to time. It's when these behaviors become the norm, not the exception, that we need to be alert. If someone in your life consistently behaves this way, it could be more than a simple personality quirk. It's also important to note that these red flags are not an exhaustive list, and they don't necessarily mean someone is a narcissist. They are, however, common traits of narcissistic behavior. When these behaviors become the norm rather than the exception, it could be a sign of narcissism. Beyond the red flags, there are more serious warning signs of narcissism. As we delve deeper into the nuances of narcissism, a few distinct behaviors stand out. One of the most telling signs of a narcissist is a glaring lack of empathy. This is not just about failing to understand or share the feelings of another, but it's also about dismissing them. A narcissist may trivialize your experiences, belittle your emotions, or blatantly ignore your needs. This lack of empathy can lead to a one-sided relationship where the narcissist's needs and desires are always in the spotlight. Another major warning sign is the propensity to manipulate others for personal gain. Narcissists are skilled puppet masters, pulling strings to bend others to their will. They might use guilt-tripping, gaslighting, or emotional blackmail to get what they want. This manipulation can be subtle, making it difficult to recognize until the damage is already done. Narcissists also have a notorious inability to handle criticism. Constructive feedback, no matter how gently delivered, is often met with hostility or defensiveness. Narcissists view criticism as a personal attack, a threat to their inflated self-image. This can lead to volatile reactions, including lashing out or playing the victim. It's important to remember that these behaviors can severely harm relationships. The lack of empathy can leave you feeling unheard and invalidated. The manipulation can erode your self-esteem and trust. The resistance to criticism can stifle communication and growth. However, it's also crucial to note that not everyone who exhibits these behaviors is a narcissist. We all have moments of self-focus, defensiveness, or insensitivity. It's the consistent pattern of these behaviors, coupled with a lack of remorse or willingness to change, that may point to narcissism. Understanding these warning signs is a step towards protecting yourself and nurturing healthier relationships. If you recognize these behaviors in someone, it's important to set boundaries and seek support. Remember, you deserve respect, empathy, and honesty in your relationships. These warning signs can indicate a deeper issue of narcissism. Narcissism can be particularly damaging in relationships. Let's explore how. When a person is in a relationship with a narcissist, they may find themselves constantly belittled and controlled. This is because narcissists have a tendency to view others as extensions of themselves, rather than as independent individuals with their own thoughts and feelings. Their partners can often feel like they're walking on eggshells, constantly trying to avoid displeasing their narcissistic partner and thereby avoiding the unleashing of their wrath or cold indifference. Additionally, narcissists are often characterized by their lack of genuine interest in their partner's needs. They may appear extremely charming and attentive at first, but this is usually a facade designed to win admiration and control. In reality, they may not care about their partner's feelings or desires unless they serve their own interests. This can leave their partner feeling unseen, unheard, and unappreciated. Narcissists also have an inability to take responsibility for their actions. They often externalize blame, pointing fingers at others rather than acknowledging their own role in a situation. This can create a toxic cycle in a relationship, where the narcissist continually blames their partner for any issues that arise, leading to feelings of guilt and inadequacy in the partner. Over time, the narcissist's constant criticism and lack of empathy can chip away at their partner's self-esteem. The partner may start to believe that they are the problem, that they are not good enough, and that they are to blame for the narcissist's behavior. This can lead to feelings of despair, loneliness, and worthlessness. It's important to remember that narcissism is a personality disorder, and it's not something that can be changed or cured by love and understanding alone. If you find yourself in a relationship with a narcissist, seek help from a mental health professional. They can provide you with the tools and support you need to protect your emotional well-being and decide on the best course of action. Being in a relationship with a narcissist can be emotionally draining and damaging. As we've seen, narcissism is more than just self-love. It's a complex psychological condition that can have serious consequences. It's crucial to understand not only its intricacies but also its red flags and warning signs, particularly in the context of relationships. Let's take a moment to recap what we've discussed. We began by delving into the intricacies of narcissism, exploring its multifaceted nature. It's not just about an inflated sense of self-importance. Narcissism can also manifest as a lack of empathy, a constant need for admiration, and an excessive self-focus. Then, we moved on to the red flags, the early indicators that might signal you're dealing with a narcissist. These can include a relentless need to be the center of attention, an inability to handle criticism, and a habit of manipulating others to maintain control or superiority. We also discussed the warning signs, which tend to be more apparent as you get closer to a person exhibiting narcissistic tendencies. These might include a lack of genuine interest in your feelings, a pattern of breaking promises, or a tendency to make every conversation about them. In the context of relationships, these signs can often be masked by charm or intense attraction early on. However, as time passes, these behaviors become more evident, leading to a cycle of idealization, devaluation, and discard, which is characteristic of narcissistic relationships. Understanding these signs and flags is not about labeling or judging others. Instead, it's about equipping ourselves with the knowledge to navigate our relationships effectively. It's about recognizing unhealthy patterns and making informed decisions about how to handle them. Remember, recognizing narcissism is the first step towards dealing with it effectively. The journey might be challenging, but with awareness and understanding, we can ensure our relationships are healthy, respectful, and mutually beneficial.